now that the dust has settled after the beta.
Exactly, the beta.
What kind of lessons did you learn from that you're going to take forward to the actual full retail version?
Oh, I mean, what's interesting is the biggest lessons we learned are the ones that no one's going to see, which are all the sort of infrastructure and the matchmaking and dedicated servers and where they need to go around the world. Those sorts of things are the most important. That I think if we had gone out on September 20th without having the beta, it wouldn't have been as like Gears 2, but it would have been as smooth as the beta, which we had lots of ups and downs along the way. But we got all that stuff worked out, so I'm really excited for people to be able to get into it. But there's other stuff as well, like we found Thrashball and Trenches, 2 of our maps had spawn camping issues, so we altered those maps to allow for escape corridors. We tweaked some ranges and weapon power, and we changed the duration of King of the Hill, that kind of stuff. So a lot of nudges, but the big thing was just how to do dedicated servers right.
So you're raring to go for September now, the dedicated servers up to kind of top spec and all?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like I was saying that if we didn't do the beta, I was going to have a sleepless night. Just because of what happened in Gears 2, I was going to have a sleepless night on September 19th going like, oh my God, when 1 million people come to play multiplayer, what's going to happen? And now after the beta, I'm going to sleep easy on September 20th.
Were you disappointed that the campaign leaked online?
Oh, yeah, tremendously disappointed. I mean, from a bunch of different reasons. One is it's an early build from way before even the beta, and so it doesn't represent the game at all. I think the fact that people are trying to use that information to hurt other people's experiences by whether it be yelling it in a chat room or those sorts of things, or tricking people to watch videos and stuff. It's really disappointing, because I think of the Gears community and the gaming community in general as sort of a close-knit group, or at least people who have the same interests. And so for hackers to want to go out and try to ruin other people's experiences is just terribly disappointing.
How does something like that affect the team back in Rally?
It's demoralizing. When the leak happens, it caused, like, some people literally lost sleep over it just because it was really disappointing that. Because it's things too, like you want surprises, you want people to have a sense of wonder in the game, and you want to be able to go and say, hey, there's this thing we're not showing you because we want it to be a secret, and then people go out and purposely try to exploit that, and so you feel like you've lost it. Imagine in The Sixth Sense if somebody said, yelled from the top of every building, this is what the thing is, that experience would have been lost on it for you, and whether you want it to be taken from you or not. So yeah, it hurts a lot.
But it must help the team to know that it's the most pre-ordered Xbox title in the history. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the most pre-ordered exclusive. Yeah, so yeah, it's great. I mean, to have that kind of momentum and interest in the game has been really exciting. And that's one of the nice things about the leak, is in the sense that it was limited to Xbox. So it's not like a PC leak where everybody in the world is playing it. It's only people with modded Xboxes, and at least that's a subset. But yeah, I mean, we put so much effort into this version. It's the biggest one we've ever done. It's the most polished one we've ever done. We're so proud of everything that's there. So to see the response from the fans has been exciting.
Have you found the source of the leak?
Yes and no. I mean, we think we're pretty close to who did it, and so we're doing all the right legal things that we need to do. So how they exactly got it, we're not 100% sure yet. I know what they say, and what is true is not necessarily the same. So, but we're doing all the right things legally.
Ooh. I'll give you a side of bacon for her, though.
Oh, bacon.
Hey, take the deal, Cole. I haven't had bacon in 6 months.
So this time we got 4-player co-op in the campaign. Is it harder to balance something like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 4-player co-op changes the rules on everything. It's hard to balance from a story perspective. It was a real challenge for Karen to be able to say, okay, I'm going to tell a story where there's always 4 characters in every scene. And how do you do that in terms of dialogue and who gets to talk and all that kind of stuff? And then from a gameplay perspective, it's just you have 4 people all looking for cover, all wanting to attack the enemy. And so we had to go back to sort of a Gears 1 style where we created more combat bowls, these just bigger spaces where there's lots of cover and you can pick your own flanking routes and you can determine how you want to take the fight to the enemy. So it's kind of been great from a nostalgia point of view, going back and thinking of Embry Square and the types of ways that you played Gears 1, and you get to do that all over again in Gears 3.
So a case of bigger maps, more enemies kind of thing to balance that?
Well, yeah, well, we're not always a big fan of just putting more enemies, and so what we did is we created the Lambent, that third army, and we made them a really tough enemy to help deal with the co-op aspect. So, and the fact that they can mutate up and change their arms, and they can actually shoot at multiple people at the same time, and they can shoot over cover to make you more vulnerable, and that kind of thing, and they're tougher in general, and they blow up when you get close to them, so that was kind of meant to sort of counter that power of 4 people playing together.
You've been going through a lot of these kind of exclusive unlockables.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that kind of it might have an adverse effect on the people that say didn't get a chance to play the beta and get the Coltrane,
Right.
the skin and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. The exclusives are always a double-edged sword, and part of it is that the people who really want that stuff are the people who do the really crazy thing. People want us to give content only for seriously people, and that's like 0.5% of our entire population, and so it's hard to create content for just that 0.5%. So you always have to look at trying to find this carrot that you want to have people to go after and encourage them to pre-order or go encourage them to play the beta. But at the same time, you don't necessarily want to take content away from others. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag. I think there's ways to solve it, but I mean, right now that's what the beta was going to be get its most value by getting people to play for as long as possible, and so we created the Coltrane one just for that.
What lessons did you learn from the Gears 2 campaign that you've taken forward into 3?
I think one of the big lessons we felt was that sense of the bigger spaces, as much as it was for 4-player co-op, but it was that we felt like Gears 2, a lot of people, when we talked around about how people played it, it would tend to be Lancer and Longshot. There was a lot of sniper rifle play because it was a longer quarter. You're dealing inside of a worm or you're inside of a cave. And one of the big changes actually in Gears 3 that some people might be upset with is we actually treat the sniper rifle as a power weapon in Gears 3. So when you pick up ammo crates, you actually don't get sniper ammo from it. So that hoping to encourage people to get rid of the sniper rifle and pick up the boom shot and pick up other weapons.
Have you already started planning for the future after Gears 3?
No, we're really focused on, everybody's got blinders on and just getting Gears 3 out the door and having the most successful launch we can have. So, the industry's changing with mobile and social and everything else that's coming in the future. So we're just sort of taking our time and say, let's get focused on this, and then we'll pop our head up the other side and see what's going on.
Have you got a long kind of plan for, not DLC, but the community stuff that you're doing, the challenge weeks?
Oh, sure. I mean, that's one of the things we wanted to have in Gears 3 was a lot more interaction with the fans on an event. We do it now. I do these Twitter XP weekends or weeks or whatever. And we actually changed from a message of the day in Gears 2 to a calendar in Gears of War 3 because we wanted to have that ability to have Ticker Tuesday and to have those kinds of like more regular events where that we're paying attention, we're listening, and we're being more interactive.
Now, Gears of War, when it launched, was it 2006? 2006. It was obviously a new IP from Epic. Mm-hmm. Bulletstorm came out recently. I think Mike Cap said that it didn't break even, but they're still going to kind of put the resources into the IP. How in this day and age do you kind of get a new shooter and a new IP to be successful like Gears of War?
A new shooter in this day and age is really hard. You're going against such a body of work already out there that you're competing with. Like if you're trying to do a shooter today, you have to deal with, hey, we expect all these features that all these shooters have. So it's really tough. It's really tough, and that's why you have to find that thing, that hook that really differentiates it. And that's what the People Can Fly tried to do with Bulletstorm, was really give it that, we'll make it a little bit less realistic. We'll make it more tongue-in-cheek and having fun with it. So it's not about, if you're tired of the realism and you want to find a fantasy with a certain sense of humor, this is the place to go. And so that's kind of what, this way we are with Gears too, is that we have monsters and we have third person and we have characters. We don't have just faceless people who you don't know the names of. These are people that you care about, and so that's how we're trying to define our niche.
Have you ever complained some motion sickness to the camera when you're in the road?
No, actually, no. We haven't had that much motion sickness. The interesting thing is we had a roll on the ship while we were building Raven's Nest levels that you played today. We originally had a lot more sway in the camera, and cans would roll and stuff like that. And yeah, that's when people were getting nauseous, and we had to turn all that stuff way down.